What is up, everybody? 7th, 2015, and I am, of course, Jonathan from Radio Tokyo, and I just dropped everything that I had sitting beside me. Sorry about that. That was not intentional. Anyway, before I get in the show, I want to make a few corrections. Yesterday, when I made the video, that was my personal reaction to the issues with Nicole Arbor that's been going on. Evidently, I said something that indicated that I'm actually in favor of bullying, and I wanted to go ahead and address that really quickly while I have a chance. No, I am not. While I do think that having competitiveness in society is a good thing, and I do think it's healthy to express the idea that, hey, I'm better at using this, or hey, you can do better at whatever it is you're doing. I don't think it's a good idea to pick on somebody because they're male, because they're female, because they have long hair, because they have short hair, because they dress funny, because they smell funny, because they're fat, because they're transgender, because they're gay, because they're bisexual, because their skin is blue, whatever. I don't think making fun of somebody is an okay thing. And it it really did upset me yesterday to hear what Nicole Arbor was saying and to read, like on Facebook and the comments on YouTube and whatnot, the people who were actually saying that she was right for saying it. And I do think that a lot of that does have to do with a lack of education about people's health concerns. Now, uh, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm not a small person, but I deal with depression, I deal with anxiety, and I'm also a big fan of food. And I'm one of the people that I think, in a lot of ways, whenever I'm uncomfortable, whenever I'm upset, whenever I'm upset, I'll eat more. Now, that's never been a diagnosed thing for me. That's just something I've noticed. But I've been working at it for a very long time, and I've been trying very, very hard to break some habits like that. Now, it's going to take me a while, to lose the extra weight that I have, but that's a positive thing for me to know that there are people out there who, actually support me in needing to make a change to be better and a change to try and not have the habits that I have. But a lot of people, evidently, at least as of yesterday, seem to be pretty vocal that they think that there's nothing wrong and that you just overeat too much. Now, as was pointed out to me yesterday, there are some people, well, actually take it back. I knew about it ahead of time. There's people who have medical conditions that cause weight gain. Some people are on medication for other conditions that cause weight gain, and it's never really a good idea to look at them and say, "Oh, hey, you're a disgusting fat ass. You need to go on a diet." That doesn't actually work. Uh, Now, despite the fact that Nicole Arbor has mentioned, in her video there was 35% of the American population is obese, she didn't address the fact that there's a lot of people who are heavyset who kill themselves. Because, like I mentioned, a lot of what I've discovered is people who eat to compensate. That's the reason we have a thing called comfort foods, because you want to be comfortable. It makes you feel better. And like I said, a lot of people who have anxiety issues or depression and whatnot will go after those comfort foods to feel better. And that's something that needs to be worked on because depression a lot of times can lead to suicide, and so can bullying. It's very important that this is not separated at all to anyone who's listening to me say this, or to anyone at all. Period. They go hand in hand, because typically, if you're going to kill yourself, there's something wrong, and it usually winds up being depression, or because you're being bullied, or because you're just generally made fun of, especially if you're younger. I posted something earlier this month, around the first, I believe, about students in Japan. September 1st in Japan is the first actual day of school, and every year they have, I think it's about 135 children between the ages of about 9 and 18 who commit suicide every year. Okay, on August 31st and September 2nd, it's high 60s or so. But every year, it's almost guaranteed there's going to be at least 100 to 130 kids who are going to kill themselves because they're being bullied at school, because their school environment is so competitive. The idea that, hey, we have to go to school, we have to do this, we have to better ourselves, we have to do this and this and this and this and this. You have to do all these other courses, all these activities. You have to go to cram school. You have to go after school. You have to do school on the weekends. It's very highly it's highly competitive, and and that's just the way the Japanese people conduct their society. In America, we don't have that problem. In America, you can have a holiday because a tree fell in the middle of the road, and that's really not a joke. We've had that before. Where I live in Texas, if we get about a half of an inch of snow or ice on the ground, school's canceled. It's out. It's over and done with. Now, as I said, in Japan, that's not how it is. But on September 1st every year, they have this tragic loss of children, young people, every year because of school, because of the pressure that's faced at school. And typically, when there's bullying to be found, it's at school. Except now, with the internet-based society that we have, a lot of it is found on the internet. So I just wanted to, to talk about that for a few minutes because it actually does matter. It matters to me. There's people who have killed themselves because of how they were treated on the internet, and I'm in my 30s, and I'm certainly not immune to being picked on the internet. And I've had people say some horribly mean things to me over the years, but obviously I'm still here because in a lot of ways I'm able to deal with it. And with the audience, that we've managed to build up for Radio Tokyo, some people are going to criticize me. Now, generally people don't, and that's cool. We never really had anyone criticize me or Nick or Danny and say really mean things about us. But that's okay, because I'm sure at some point in time we will. And that happens. That goes along hand in hand with gaining any notoriety on the internet. And yesterday, if no other day will serve an example as an example for you, yesterday shows you exactly what notoriety on the internet can get you. Nicole Arbor voiced her opinion. She said something mean spirited. She insulted a large number of people, and her YouTube account was disabled by by Google essentially for 10, 12, 18 hours, somewhere around. I'm not sure how long it was down, but it was restored last night, and all of her videos are actually gone now. Like, all of her videos have been wiped clean. That they may be put back, I don't know. Facebook has not addressed her video on there yet because it was posted to Facebook and YouTube. But suffice to say, society had a backlash against her, and her little pedestal she wanted to stand on didn't really hold all that weight for a while. Absolutely no pun. I'm sorry. That was a horrible statement to make. But anyway, before I get into that, or the main topic, which is actually World of Warcraft, I promise there's a real topic I wanted to discuss. I wanted to say the title of this video, if since when it's not live, when it's actually edited and has our intro and the thumbnail art and everything, um, it's about cutting through all the bullshit. Okay, today someone I've known for nearly 20 years and I got into it over politics, uh, because they decided to compare the Nazis with people who are liberal or progressive, and they started making strange arguments and saying that if they don't have a meme to support what they have to say, then they're not going to change their mind. That's ridiculous. There, seriously, we live in a world where you have unlimited access, just about, to all the information you could possibly get your hands on. So please, if you want to take a stance on anything, whether it's political, religious, uh, societal, or economic, whatever, educate yourself just a little bit. Like the most fearsome thing in the world is a voter who is educated. So, get out there and understand that just because you read something on Facebook or or you see it in a comment on YouTube or it's on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, please understand that it's most likely bullshit and you should probably look into it. So yeah, that's me and my little like 12, 13 minute long platform speech now. So I'm gonna get into the actual World of Warcraft stuff, I promise. It's actually one, two, three, four, five, like six post-it notes. I could not find anything else to write it on at the time. So yeah, here we go. Okay, there was a convention this past weekend called Dragon's Con, and I had several friends who went. I I'm kind of jealous of them for getting to go, really. Uh, but uh, one of my friends who was there, by the way, had to come home early because of the fact that they found bed bugs in her hotel room. And she actually does a podcast with another friend of hers. It's called Sarah and Cassie's Nerdy Adventure. So give them a listen at some point in time. They're funny ladies, they're intelligent ladies, and they're worth listening. Anyway, at Dragon's Con, uh, Blizzard actually had a panel there, and they discussed some of the changes coming out in Legion. So I'm gonna go through this if I can manage to read all of my notes because I was kind of writing quickly when I did this. There will now be profession quest lines. There will be dungeon loot for professions. There will be profession items. No more daily cooldown on professions. Hooray! That's actually kind of awesome. With the setup we have in uh, Warlords of Draenor right now, you can do your cooldown once a day, and it's always been that way in the past. Particularly like if you're an alchemist, you can only do like a transmute a day, and what's going to happen is that's apparently being done away with. I don't know, but from what I heard about it, the like I said, there will be items you can get from dungeons like you used to be able to do in Wrath and BC and before, and there's going to be quest lines like in Wrath and in BC, and I think a little bit of Cataclysm. I don't know. I don't remember too much, but yeah, professions are being changed, presumably for the better. Transmog is actually going to be easier to manage, as we've discussed before on the show. Blizzard is planning on taking all of your transmog gear and putting it into like a little storage thing to where it's like your BOA gear and your mounts and your toys and your companion pets. You just learn it. So whatever you can use is already learned, and you're able to use that, and you can go on with your life. They're going to do that, so it's going to be a lot easier. I don't know of any changes that are going to be made, such as being able to use a two-handed weapon in case of a one-hander, or being able to put cloth on top of plate. I don't know. That would be cool, but we'll have to keep our eyes out for that. Multi-strike is actually being removed from the game. Now, if you're a DPS class such as a hunter or a rogue or basically anyone who actually needs multi-strike, you're gonna miss it, and I'm sorry, but it's gone. It's going to be gone for good. I really don't know why. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Um, Another thing about professions I forgot a moment ago is that the upgrade system that we have right now is going to stay in the game. So you're going to be able to, craft an item, and after jumping through X number of hoops, it's going to be a little better, and you're going to be able to upgrade it. So theoretically, you're going to be able to make something or buy something on the auction house, and it will go along with you as you level. Let's see. Dungeons are going to be made to be relevant and important again. I have absolutely no idea how Blizzard is going to do that, because through Mr. Pandaria and, well, actually, most of Cataclysm, except for Heroics and Mr. Pandaria, and certainly in Warlords, no one has really done anything with dungeons because they don't fucking matter. I mean, you can outgear them really quickly, and you don't need anything else from there. and even putting the quest in the garrison for the inn, to where you had to go run these dungeons to get these items. Once you've done that, who really gives a shit, you know? But dungeons are going to be relevant again, so well, I guess we're going to find out. There will not be an artifact for every race. So if you have a Tauren Paladin and a human Paladin, they're not going to get some different weapon. If you have a Night Elf Hunter and a Blood Elf Hunter or a Troll Hunter, they're not going to get a different weapon. They're going to get the exact same weapon for that class and spec that they're going to get. So that means all Paladins are going to have Ashbringer. All marksmanship hunters are going to have the bow. I'm assuming the bow. Don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. Now it may just be rat paladins will get Ashbringer, which is what we've been told so far. So we'll find out what everybody gets. Let's see. Illidan is actually going to be a good guy. This is a biggie here. Now what his level of involvement is going to be, he might actually be just the leader for demon hunters. I don't know. But I do know he will essentially be a good guy, and he'll be on, the player side, which is actually really, really, really cool. Speaking of demon hunters, initially they were going to start at level 100 and have their own starting zone. That's being changed entirely. Demon hunters will now be like Death Knights, and they'll start several levels lower. Currently, Blizzard is aiming at having you at 98, and you'll leave at 100. So theoretically, you're just going to be in your starting zone for 2 levels. Once you leave, you'll be essentially equivalent to a brand new level 100 in Warlords right now. Demon Hunters are only, understand, only going to use glaives. There's not going to be any swords, daggers, knives, staves, bows, maces, whatever for demon hunters. It's only glaives, okay? The war glaives of Azzinoth, by the way, are swords. They're not going to switch. They're not going to be some usable thing by demon hunters now. So don't worry if you're a Death Knight or a rogue or a warrior or whatever. You'll still be able to get those, and they'll still be unique to you, and everyone will still hate you because you have both of them. Double jump is not going to be altered in any way. There's been a lot of outcry about double jump, about how, it's too overpowered, and it's going to allow you to do this, it's going to give you this advantage over this, and blah, 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 blah. No, it's not going to be touched at all. Blizzard has it functioning, apparently, like the way we saw in the initial announcement about the expansion a few weeks ago. That's what they're aiming for doing, and that's the way it's going to work. You're going to jump, and then you get kind of this little kind of pretend jump halfway through. It's essentially like a warrior's heroic leap or charge or something like that. I mean, it is an ability along that line, and that's all that's going to matter. So if you're worried about it, don't worry. Let's see what else. A lot of classes are going to be uh, altered. Well, not the classes, but your spec. Blizzard is working on an idea to alter all specs to where they actually fit more with the lore of the class. And as such, a lot of things are going to be getting renamed. I have no idea, and I'm not even going to venture a guess as to what will be being renamed. But suffice to say, we may no longer have protection paladins or holy priest or whatever. I don't know. Speaking of priest, this is actually cool. Shadow priest will no longer use mana. Yay! Now, the reason I'm cheering is Shadow Priest, you've been kind of screwed a lot in the past, and this may or may not be a boost for you. I'm hoping it will be a boost. I don't know. My Shadow Priest is not even level 70. But Shadow Priests are now going to get a new resource. Just like Demonology Warlocks can use, demonic power whenever you switch to demon form, and Hunters, now use Focus and whatnot. Shadow Priests are now going to use an ability called Insanity. I have no idea how it's going to function, but I'm pretty damn sure it's going to be like all the other, you know, stats that classes use, like Death Knights and Hunters and whatnot. I'm sure it's going to be just like that. So I guess we'll find out at some point in time. There is not going to be any updates rather of the models for Moonkin, and most likely the Treant form for Druids. So you're kind of screwed. The statement about this seems to essentially be that if you can see your weapon, you're not getting any graphical changes. So that may mean there will be an update to the Shaman Ghost Wolf form. I don't know why. I really don't know why, because there was one for Warlords. But that might get changed. We do know that Druid Cat form is being changed. Bear form, I think, is being changed. I don't know. But essentially, like I just said, if you can see your weapon, you're not getting a change at all. There are no major glyphs planned at all, none whatsoever. Uh, that may mean that we're just going to wind up keeping the same glyphs that we have now, but there's not going to be any new ones added that I'm aware of. And the last thing I want to talk about is there's apparently going to be something called adventure mode. I have no fucking idea what adventure mode is going to be, uh, but I'm actually kind of excited for it. Anyway, that's really all the Legion stuff I had to go over. I'm sure there's going to be more information put out soon, because we're a month and a half away from BlizzCon. So we'll find out. We're going to find out more, I promise. Keep an eye out on, Wowhead or whatnot. Actually, better yet, check with Radio Tokyo before you go to Wowhead, because we might have coverage of it at some point in time. But yeah, BlizzCon's coming up soon, and hey, for those of you who actually are TV watchers like me, the fall TV season is starting, I think, officially next week. So that means all the cool shows, like Gotham, The Nick, and everything else that comes on. There's so many shows that come on fall season. They're going to be coming out soon. So yeah, we're going to have some exciting stuff about that, I'm sure. I'm actually really excited for Gotham, which is coming up. Actually, is it next week? I think next week or somewhere around there. I'm really excited for that. Um, I will have probably our Monday video whenever it comes out, because it airs on Monday, will actually be a review of that episode. So keep an eye out for that. Yes, there will be spoilers. I'm sorry, but anyway, the rest of this week there should be some exciting things coming out this week. I hope. If not, I'll make something up. You know how I am. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. And by the way, just since I'm in that line of thought, if you watched or you shared the video I posted yesterday about Nicole Arbor, thank you. It did not get like thousands of views or anything on YouTube, but it was one of the best performing episodes that or videos rather that we have posted, either from the group shows or the individual shows on like Monday and Wednesday. So thank you so very much for that. I really look forward to that kind of success continuing, and I hope it does. And I really hope that you're all here, to help with that success. So again, thank you for listening. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Thank you for liking us on Facebook and telling us, what you think. Be sure and tell Nick how much you hate him and whatnot. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. I will talk to all of you again on Wednesday. Have a great Labor Day, everybody. Bye-bye.